Good morning.
Hello.
Good morning.
What's up?
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good night. Good night. Good night. Good night. Good night. Good night. Good morning.
Yo, what's yawning? It's your boy Trey Burge, otherwise known as He Falls Asleep. Welcome to the Waiq Uhp Entertainment Podcast. And we are doing a double feature because I dropped the first episode earlier on today, and I realized that I did not introduce myself at all or about what's going on, who I am as a person, and why you should be invested as an audience member, as a listener, to what we got going on over here in this section of the internet. So, yeah, let's do that. First and foremost, I want you to know that I believe in complete and utter transparency. So you're on this journey with me, okay? This whole having a podcast thing, this whole using my voice, this whole talking to people who might want to listen to what you got to say, this is so new to me. This is so new to be in the room, to talk to individuals who aren't here. I'm hopefully going to get that set up soon. I'm going to figure out how to chat with some of the other members that are in the group chat right now and try to get them on here and kind of talk about the projects that they're doing too. But yeah, transparency. I don't know exactly how to podcast or how podcasts work. I don't have a template in front of me yet. Okay, I'm going to trust the universe that I'm entertaining enough to hold your attention for at least 15 minutes. And if that's not the case, then you know what? I might have to consider a new career path. But, you know, oftentimes I do engage in these really, really deep conversations with people, and they tell me all the time that I should do a podcast. So here I am, question mark. That I definitely some more preparation should have gone into this. However, I like it. I like it. I'm a big fan of putting stuff on the internet that isn't too polished, because once the product does grow, you'll be able to see where we started. You'll be able to see where I started. I do that a lot with my music too. I got some music out on direct streaming platforms right now that, you know, one could say isn't the best type of music. You know, my mixing isn't all the way there. You know, there's some ideas that aren't completely fleshed out. I have a lot of projects that are just on the internet right now that aren't perfect by any means. However, I put them out because I know that I'm going to get better. I am going to get better. So yeah, me, who am I? Who is this guy talking to you right now? My name is D. Trey Trey Burge, and I am just a guy from Iowa. I'm 27 years old. Got diagnosed with narcolepsy with cataplexy at the age of 18 while at a vocational school in Entmt, Iowa. Yeah, it was being diagnosed at 18. Now that I know the statistics surrounding diagnosis, I feel lucky. I feel lucky being diagnosed as such at that age. There's a lot of people who are in the support groups who don't get diagnosed till like their 30s, 40s, even 50s. And I couldn't imagine that. Knowing that I have this sleep disorder, knowing that I have narcolepsy at the age of 18 has allowed me to figure out what works best for me at a sooner rate. I'm thankful. I'm thankful to know what's going on with me. One thing, yesterday I went to the Academy for Scholastic and Personal Success here in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. And I was telling a bunch of these beautiful black and brown kids about when you have something going on with you initially, and, you know, if you don't have maybe the resources or support network to kind of question what's going on with you, the more you experience, your brain is just going to normalize that. It's going to think this happens to me, and that's just what it is. And that's kind of how I was what happened to me when it came to my symptoms. I was experiencing all types of cataplexy, sleep paralysis, and excessive daytime sleepiness from the ages of like 10 till diagnosis up until now, of course, because I have a chronic illness. Yeah, there's several moments in my life where I can remember being in places and feeling and experiencing these symptoms and just being like, that's just what I do. This is something that is normal. This is not, there wasn't, but it's not like I thought it was normal, per se. Like, I didn't think it was abnormal until people started saying something about it. I didn't think what I was experiencing was abnormal until people started saying something about it. And I remember experiencing sleep paralysis in front of one of my friends in high school. We're at a Walmart, and I remember him kind of freaking out because, like, my body wasn't moving, and I'm starting to, I sandbags are piled all over me. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's when I explain sleep paralysis to you. Like, imagine just somebody holding down your body slowly, like slowly, or like somebody that they have these mini sandbags and they're like piling a couple on your foot, and then slowly up your leg, and then on your knees, and then they might put some on your shoulders, and then they put one on your stomach, and then suddenly they got, then suddenly you're covered slowly with just these sandbags, and now you can't move. It's gradual. It's a gradual, like, oh snap, now I can't feel anything type of situation. So I'm experiencing that at a Walmart. I think I was about 17 years old, 16, 17. And my guy is having a whole fit. I can't wait to get him on this pod so he can talk about it in more detail. But he doesn't know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? And up until that point, I thought what I was experiencing was normal because I've only experienced it with myself, right? My family members weren't that educated on what that looked like. And even then, when I was staying with my grandma, she chalked up my sleep paralysis to, like, she's a church going woman, so she was definitely like, that's a devil sitting on your chest. She took it all the way back, y'all. Like, she went real religious with it. She was like, what you doing behind closed doors? And and at the time, like, when I first started experiencing sleep paralysis, I was about 10, 12-ish, 13. So, like, being told that there's a devil sitting on your chest is crazy. It's crazy work. Like, that's just how it is when you come from the type of household that I come from. Yeah. So, and then imagine how I felt, being in the church around that age and, having to go to church and whatnot and kind of believing her, like, oh yeah, there's something wrong with me. There's something, why am I being attacked spiritually? I do think there is a spiritual connection between individuals with sleep disorders. There's got to be something there. And there was this guy at the Waiq Uhp Narcolepsy Summit earlier this year that spoke on it. I don't even remember his information. Gosh. Listen, hopefully you find this information, and hopefully somebody on the internet can find you, because I definitely want to talk about it. I want to talk about the spiritual significance of having a sleep disorder, because there's got to be something there. So I'm experiencing sleep paralysis at that point, right? Listen, one thing about me is that I'm going to go off on tangents. That's just the nature of the game. I got attention deficit. Hyperactive. I'm a big ADHD guy. And that's kind of why I think the podcast platform is such a dope one, because it allows me to kind of go on tangents. However, I do think as I continue to do this, I'm going to try to clean it up a little bit more and be a little bit more focused about what I'm talking about. Sleep paralysis. Sleep paralysis, experiencing it at that age, assuming it was normal, my guy freaking out. And now there's a little bug in my ear. Okay. This might not be normal. This might not be the thing that's supposed to be happening, because it doesn't happen to him. And that's another thing. Being able to, like, cross-reference your experiences with other people's experience will often leave you gaslighting yourself, thinking like, wait, what? Like, you're confused, and you think, okay, sure, they experienced that too. But then once you actually sit down and talk to somebody who doesn't experience that at all, I am still flabbergasted that Other people don't just randomly get tired throughout the day. They don't get sleepy. The general population doesn't experience excessive daytime sleepiness like I do. I'll be sitting there talking to my fiance like, girl, I gotta close my eyes. I gotta, I feel something coming on. And she's like, okay. She just says, okay. And like, what? Oh, you're not tired? And then I'm like, oh, yeah, I have a sleep disorder. I have narcolepsy. I think there's a common theme throughout my life. I don't know if anybody can relate to that. Some people may have symptoms that are so rampant that they are always reminded that they do have narcolepsy. However, in my everyday life, I be forgetting, y'all. I be forgetting until it's that time, until my brain drops a dream, boop, and I'm reminded once again that I have a chronic illness that I can never get rid of, that forces me to sit down and take naps. Yeah. It's a thing. There's a question I want to answer while I'm here on the second episode of this Waiq Uhp Entertainment podcast that I get a lot when I do interviews and whatnot. And they ask me if I could hit a button and erase the fact that I have narcolepsy. Like I've never had it, like I've never been diagnosed with it. Would I? I'm going to answer this now. Second episode in this deep philosophical question about sleep disorders in the community. Would I get rid of my narcolepsy? No. And I say no because maybe I'm out of privilege. Maybe I have privilege in the sense that what I'm experiencing with my sleep disorder doesn't impact my life so much so that it's all I can think about. It's so debilitating. I definitely was there. However, having this sleep disorder, believe it or not, has given me empathy. It's when people started telling me about, maybe there are other things in their life that are debilitating to them, other rare conditions, I'm more likely to give them an ear because look what I'm experiencing. I care more. I care more. I care more about myself. I care more about others, which feels crazy because I definitely think there's a conversation about feeling like you don't care, especially when you're tired. Okay, when you're tired, when you're sleepy. But experiencing this sleep disorder the way I've been experiencing has caused me to be really intentional about my life and what I'm doing currently and the impact that my actions have on others and the impact that my actions have on myself. And once again, it's just allowed me to care. I would not get rid of this disorder, guys. It's hard though. I'm not going to lie. It's so hard. And, I have a friend that says I've made having narcolepsy my whole personality. You know what? Narcolepsy affects every section of my life. So sorry. Sorry, not sorry. Oh my gosh. We have to wrap up. That was definitely getting heated. I got to figure out how to make these a little bit longer. Yeah, I can't wait to do this more. Love y'all. If you have any questions, definitely let me know. I would love to answer them on a pod. Let's do this. Love y'all.